Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel and happy Halloween. I am recording this last minute. It is October 30th. Tomorrow is Halloween. I am cutting it very close. I hope we're all feeling spooky, in the mood to talk about paranormal stuff. I'm wearing a jack-o'-lantern vest from Spirit Halloween. Very cute, very spooky, very demure. So I had a completely different video planned for this month, and I think some of you who have watched my last video will recall that I teased the specific video that I'm talking about for this one, but that's not it, because there's a lot of research going on in that one and I just couldn't get it done in time. So I was thinking that maybe I could share all of my personal paranormal experiences with you guys that I've had throughout my entire life that have kind of shaped everything that I feel about the paranormal and spooky things. So what better way to share that with you than a PowerPoint? Yay! Oh, look at that ring light. That's you guys. Say hello, say hi. Anyways, as you can tell, this is not the best way to do it. I was just gonna share my screen like this, but instead I think I'm just gonna pop it up over here. So yes, let's dive right in. So first, do I believe in the paranormal and spooky stuff and ghosts and goblins and ghouls? So if you were to put me on a scale of Shane Madej to Ryan Bergara, is it Bergara? Bergara? How do you say his last? Bergara. Bergara. Ryan Bergara. Okay. Or you could say between a skeptic and a believer, I am kind of in the middle towards believer. I say this because I believe in ghosts. I do believe that spirits exist, but I'm very skeptical about the way we investigate these things, about the claims people make, about the facts that the experts say about spirits and ghosts. I don't believe a lot of what's out there, but I do believe that something is there. So that's kind of where I'm an open skeptic, or am I a skeptical believer? I don't know. There's a term there. We'll figure it out. Anyways, I had some very early experiences. When I was super young, we went on a family trip to Alcatraz, and I had remembered seeing Alcatraz in a Ghost Hunters episode, I believe. Am I in Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures? I think it was Ghost Hunters, because I don't know if Ghost Adventures was around at this point. It was an Alcatraz ghost hunting episode, either way. And I remember that they were saying that the C block of cells was known for ghost orbs. So I took my little digital camera and I went ham and I took photos everywhere, which I also can't find. I know that they're in maybe one of my family photo hard drive thingies. I just have to really, really dig for it. But I do have the photos of this day. So we were touring in cell block. We were doing one of those guided tours with the headphones on that you could just walk on your own and press the button and it would say what you're looking at. And I snapped a few photos. And so one of the photos that I took was of the C block cell. And I was looking down, you can kind of see all the cells above as well. And you can see all the tourists in front of us with the headphones on. And in one of these photos, there is this blue orb looking thing. I don't want to say it looks like an orb, because when you think of ghost orb, you literally just think of a speck of dust in a camera flash, right? It doesn't look like that. It has substance to it. It's very strange. I want to find this photo. I'm going to dig and try to find it. But I take this photo and I see this orb, and what freaks me out is that it's behind the cell bars of the upper floor. You have this blue orb, and then you have two of the cell bars or whatever in front of it. And it's there's space there, it is behind something. It was really strange. This is really bothering me now that I don't have the photo. I'm gonna search for it, and if I find it, I'll post it to my Instagram, and I'll also probably post it to my community post. So follow and subscribe if you want to see my Alcatraz ghost orb photo, if I can find it. Anyways, my next experience was kind of small. It was after one of my cats had passed away. His name was Whiskers, and I was going to bed, and as I was falling asleep, I could have sworn that I felt a cat jump up on the bed and curl up at my feet, which was not like Whiskers. He was not super cuddly like that. So it was really interesting to feel that as a kid. And I looked and there was no cat there. So I don't know, that was something small, but could have been me dreaming as a kid. But then was the big event, my canon event. This is the time I saw a ghost with my peepers. This is the thing that made me believe. So I was young. I want to say I was in 7th grade. and I was doing homework at my desk. And to the right of the desk was the front hallway of my house. And I made this lovely little rendition of how it looks. This is not exact, but just to give you an idea. So to my right was the front hallway where you could see the stairs going to the second floor, and you could also see the door to my dad's office, which is always open. So I was bored out of my mind, not wanting to do homework, and I was kind of just staring off into space, and I started to see like this white fuzzy thing in my eye, kind of like in the upper right corner where like the stairs are. And I thought to myself, that's a floaty in my eye. And I was bored, and I was just trying to keep it there. Like, you know when you see a floaty in your eye and you blink or move your eyes and they kind of fly away? Well, I was so bored that I was playing a game with myself to try to keep it there. So I was just staring in this one spot, seeing this white fuzzy in the corner of my eye, trying to not move or not do anything to like have it go away. And soon my cat Dusty kind of comes in from my dad's office and sits at the doorway, and he's looking at me. And so I kind of look at him, and I notice that this floaty thing seems like it's going down the stairs. But to me, I'm thinking, I just looked at my cat, the floaty's moving, whatever. So my cat and I make eye contact, and he starts to walk towards me. At the same time, this floaty thing is coming down the stairs, and he's walking towards me, and they meet at the bottom. And then my cat Dusty looks up at it, freaks out. He's trying to run away so quickly that he runs in place for a little bit before booking it. And then the thing's gone. And I'm sitting there like, what just happened? Because it made me rethink everything that I thought was happening. I thought I had a floaty in my eye, and then my cat Dusty was gonna see me. I didn't think he was going to see it, and that's why I think it's like something was physically there. Later on, I tried to mentally debunk it, because of course I didn't debunk as a child, like right there. And there's 3 categories that I try to think of when recalling paranormal experiences. Was there a witness? Yes, there was. Somebody else saw and reacted to the same thing I saw. Was the witness reliable? The cat can't lie. Like, my cat Dusty was not gonna run away just from nothing. Like, he saw something and ran away from it. So there was something physically there to spook him. Was this a false memory? It wasn't. I asked my mom recently, I was like, hey, do you remember this thing happening? She's like, oh yeah, I remember you calling me afterwards. I was home alone. I forget if I mentioned that. I was home alone when all this happened. And then also there's an experience that happens later on that kind of builds off of this and makes us recall this. So that, like, it was a real memory. It happened, and there was something physically there. So this kicked off my entire belief in the paranormal and like really pushed me to be a believer. So after this event happened, like many years, like I was in 7th grade, I believe, when this happened, and now I'm in high school, I think maybe like 10th or 11th grade, maybe even I was a senior, I can't remember, but it was later on in my high school career. There was a follow-up event, if you will, or something related to this. We had a neighborhood girl just come and watch Dusty. This is another photo of Dusty. There he is. He's so cute. I miss him very much. Watch him for like a few days. I forget where we were, but we were gone on some family trip. And we get a call from, I think this must have been like the last day we were gone, from the mother of the young girl who was watching Dusty. And she was like, I'm sorry, I had to take my daughter home. And my mom's like, what? Why? So the little girl was watching Dusty, hanging out with him, and he was sitting on the steps, the same steps that we saw the floaty thing. And she was like either playing with him or talking with him. And suddenly she hears heavy footsteps upstairs. And she said that Dusty was even looking up there. And it freaked her out so bad that she called her mom. Her mom comes over to pick her up. Her mom hears it. And then she's like, no, we're leaving. There was a bit of a language barrier there, so I'm not sure exactly like the details of what they were feeling, but from my understanding, the daughter heard it, was really unsure. She called her mom. Her mom came over just to make sure it wasn't like the house creaking, heard it, and then said, no, I'm taking you out of here. So it was weird because that was like the second time something happened related to Dusty. Like, was my cat haunted? I don't know. But something was up with the stairs and like the upstairs area with that. And like that house was not haunted. I never felt like it was haunted. I was interested in the paranormal, but I didn't think my house was haunted. You know, I feel like it's a really easy trap to get into the paranormal and then hear things in your own home and think it's haunted. I did not think my house was haunted at all. So these were really weird, isolated incidents. So many years later, my family decides to sell the house, and there's a lot of stuff that needs to go on when you sell the house. You have to like check, you know, your inspection, get everything done. And there was this one moment when the inspector was coming to, you know, take a look around, and this one light, it was like a recessed light in our ceiling, it just went out like the second the inspector was there. And the inspector, like, you know, had to mark it down and said, hey, check your wiring or check the light bulb, whatever. And then the second the inspector left, it was back on. And it never turned off or flickered before or after that. And my mom kind of joked around that the house didn't want us to leave, or that the house didn't want us to sell it. So we're still in the process of selling the house when a few, I want to say days later, it happened all kind of quickly. My mom and I were coming downstairs. It was evening. We were probably going to go watch a TV show in the living room. And I'm walking behind her as she's going down the stairs. And she like holds onto the bar and like stops me. I'm like, whoa, what's up? Like she stopped really quickly. And she goes, I saw a light shoot out of the front door. And I'm like, huh? Like, what? Like that is not a normal thing you hear on like a Tuesday evening, right? And so what she described was like she saw a ball of light shoot out of our front door into the house. I wish that I had seen it, but I didn't. Only my mom did. I was trying to think maybe it could have been a reflection of a headlight, but we at that point had lived in that house for 23 years. I feel like we would know what a headlight looks like in the window, you know? So that was strange. Also, this is a minor one, but apparently my mom also heard cat pitter patter or like cat footsteps like really clearly in a room when our only cat Dusty was asleep. So Dusty was like fast asleep, and my mom could have sworn she heard cats walking. So who knows, maybe ghost cat. I'm not gonna complain. Oh God, and then this one freaks me out too. A little bit more than the like weird visual thing that I saw. There's something about disembodied sounds that really freaked me out. And so I had just gotten home with my parents. I was the first one up the stairs in the house in my room. So for context, my brother works on a ship and it requires him to be out for a few months and then back for a few months. And I would always get like his schedule mixed up. So I go upstairs and I go into my room, I close my door and I lay on my bed, probably scrolling on my phone or like playing my Nintendo DS, I don't know. And I hear some like really clear shuffling and movement right outside my door. And I thought like, oh, it's my brother, because his room was right across the hallway from me. Maybe he was gonna like ask me something or knock on my door. So I wait to see if he would say anything, and he doesn't. So I go and I open the door to see who's there, and nobody's there. And I see that his room is completely open and like spotless. He's not home. And then I go downstairs and my mom and dad are just getting into the kitchen from the basement. I'm like, were you guys just upstairs? Did one of you want to say something or tell me something? Like, no, we just got in. And then I'm like, is my brother home? And they're like, no, he's out at sea. He's coming home soon. Because I had completely mixed up his schedule. So I really was like freaked out by that because it sounded like somebody right outside my door. And again, by this point we had lived there for 23 years. Like I know the sounds of that house. And so I had my mom actually go up with me and recreate it. And it was the sound of like pants shuffling right outside of my door. So next I went to college. Yay, it's like fun and stuff. Except I decided to go to art school. Yay. This is a really accurate image of how I felt. Anyways, so while I was at college, I had an apartment. And it was an old apartment. It's in an old city. I don't know exactly how old, but it was old. I didn't think it was haunted. I didn't think it was spooky, anything like that. It was just my apartment. So one night I had gone to sleep and woke up what I thought was like really early morning, right before my alarm. And I hear these heavy boot steps walking to the head of my bed. And I never opened my eyes. I stayed snoozing. So I thought it was the maintenance worker coming in to like fix something in the pipes that maybe they didn't notice me. And so I tried to just pretend be asleep, and maybe they would notice me, like, oops, whoops, and then leave again. I don't know. I was half asleep. My thoughts were not coherent. And then I actually fall back asleep. When I wake up, I kind of forgot that the whole thing happened, started going about my day, and then I suddenly remembered. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, that thing happened last night. So I look around my room to see, like, oh, did a maintenance worker come in? But I realized that there could not have been anybody who entered my room, because the door to my room opened inward and it never properly latched. So I had a heavy suitcase from the inside to keep it closed. And if somebody was to come into my room, they would have to open the door and the suitcase would move with it, and then it wouldn't ever close back. And when I woke up, I noticed that the door was closed fully with the suitcase there. So nobody actually came into my room, and it was just sleep paralysis, which I have learned that whenever I sleep on my back, I get sleep paralysis. I don't know why that is. Do you also get sleep paralysis sleeping on your back? Like, what? It's supposed to be really good for you to sleep on your back, but I just can't do it. Anyways, so that happened. And then later on in college, I guess it was my like sophomore year maybe, or junior. No, it might have been junior year. I had a friend over, and he was sitting on my bed doing work on his laptop, like doing homework or classwork or whatever. And I was taking a shower. I wonder if we might have been going out to dinner or like going somewhere afterwards. And anyways, I was taking a shower and he was working on the computer on my bed. And while he's working on the computer, he notices, like, in the corner of his eye, my door opened slightly ajar, and he like sees me peering in, like either making a funny face or like I'm peering in trying to make a joke. And so he's like, okay, she's about to like do something, like make a silly joke. So he kind of ignores me and goes back to work. And then he realizes that the shower's still going, and he looks and there's nothing in the door anymore. And he was really freaked out. Like, he did not like the idea of ghosts or paranormal stuff. It really freaked him out. So he was very spooked because he saw my distinct face looking into my room through the door, and I was still in the shower. So that freaked him out. But not only that, I want to say later that same week, I enter one of the buildings in my school, and a teacher like does a double take when I pass him, and he goes, I just said hi to you. I go, what? He's like, yeah, I just passed you and said hi to you. That's so weird. And I was like, yeah, that's really weird. Inside, I'm like, oh my God, a ghost walked up to my face and stole my face, and now is my doppelganger walking around in my school. Or maybe my future self came into possession of a time turner, and I did the whole like Hermione thing where she's like, I'm gonna take 2 classes at once. Except I would know that by now, and I didn't. So I don't know. It was really freaky to have this doppelganger issue for a bit in college. That face in the doorway thing was really freaky. Next, after college, there was this little thing called COVID. Don't know if you heard about it, but it was kind of a big deal. And my parents had bought a new house. So this new house was a attached unit. It was one house on the end, 2 houses in the middle, another house on the end, and they were all connected by like that one wall. And my parents had just moved into one, and I moved in with them because COVID, yeah. Anyways, this was a new build house. We were the first people to live in it, same shtick as the last one. And a few things happened in it that were weird. There was a loft that had my bedroom and like the family room entertainment area and my office. And then downstairs was the kitchen, the formal living room. I wouldn't really call it that, but like that's kind of what it felt like. The dining room, kitchen, my parents' bedroom, my dad's office. And I was the only person who slept upstairs, so I would, walk around, do my stuff, get ready in the morning. And my mom was saying that sometimes it would sound like I was home when I wasn't, because there's this section where you go up the stairs and you would go straight, and that would be my bedroom. And she would always hear somebody walking either to or from my bedroom and the top of the stairs. And there was one time when my brother was visiting and they both heard it, and he thought I was home, which was weird. Like, I didn't think that house was haunted either. And I guess maybe you could have heard the people next door, but no, you couldn't, because the unit next to us was empty, actually, for like quite a while when we were living there. I don't think these people had moved in when my mom had first started hearing that. And also, like, you really couldn't hear your neighbors. It was pretty well insulated, so I don't think it could have been that, but I guess there's always the possibility. Anyways, the next thing that happened, I did witness. So it was in my bedroom, and I had this little like corner curio cabinet thing. It was a TV stand with 3 levels, and I had little trinkets and rocks and jars on it and whatnot. All of a sudden, like in the middle of the night, after I want to say like a year or 2 years of living there, there was this little like clinking sound that would happen only in the middle of the night. And it was so frustrating because if I hear any repetitive sound while I'm trying to sleep, like I am honed in on it, I am not sleeping. And there was just a little clink, clink. And I got so frustrated, I got up and I was like, what is happening? I tried like turning on my light thinking, oh my God, is there like a mouse in there or whatever? And I looked at it, nothing. So I turned off my light, clink. I'm like, oh, Jesus. And so I just kind of was like thinking, okay, maybe it's a ghost. I don't know. And it's like, can you stop, please? And it did, literally, at least for the first night. And then it happened again, and I got so frustrated that I got up and I investigated, and I was looking at my shelf trying to figure out what it was, and I finally figured out that it was these 2 jars coming together and clinking. But it was weird because they didn't like stay next to each other. I definitely had to like move them together to make the same clinking noise. So I don't know if it was honestly like a spirit or anything, but it was frustrating. It was very annoying. Sorry if the lighting and angle is off. My camera died. Anyways, where were we? Yes, so in this house also, there was a time where I had my friend over and he was hanging out on my bed, kind of just like scrolling on his phone. And you know what? Where's my phone? Let me get a prop for this. So as he was scrolling his phone on the bed, he was like literally just probably going through TikTok, going like this. He noticed what looked like a hand come in like behind his phone, almost like shooing him. And he looks to me and goes, what? Thinking that I had literally just like shooed and be like, get off your phone. And I was like, what? He's like, you just shooed my phone away. What's up? But no, I did not. So Shadow Hand tried to get him off the phone. Maybe the ghost was like, hey, you guys are hanging out. Maybe spend some quality time. Stop scrolling TikTok. And honestly, valid. All right, so this last point. I know how it looks, okay? But trust me, I have a little story for you. So me and my boyfriend love to go antiquing. We are very avid antique mall goers. And there's one that we like to go to nearby. Him, a friend of ours, and myself, we go to this mall and we are walking through the aisles. They're like really skinny aisles and there's like, you know, a bunch of stuff on every side. It's just how an antique mall is. It's great. And I see this creepy clown looking doll and I go to take a photo of it because I'm thinking this could be cool for art references and using it later on for inspiration and whatnot. So I go to take a photo of it and I was like, do I want to buy it? No, I don't think so. I'll just take a photo and use that. And then I walk away. And all of a sudden, I feel a tug on my hoodie. And I turn around, I'm like, oh yeah? Because I literally thought my boyfriend or my friend was behind me saying like, oh, come look at this item. Except there was nobody in the aisle. Like it was completely empty. It was just me. So I promptly turn around and buy that doll because if I have the chance of getting a haunted doll, I am going to purchase it, okay? Do you want to meet the haunted doll? Let me go get the haunted doll. Hold on. You know, I say haunted, but like, I don't know. He hasn't really done anything since. This is him. Look at him. He's a little ruined because I tried to clean him a little bit, but something inside his head like dyed his face. Yeah, this is him. He's jingly. I called him Timmy. I don't know, like look at the face. Isn't that, hello, focus? I feel like a beauty guru, like, and this is the haunted doll that I picked up. I love him. I don't know, he's a little creepy. I like creepy dolls. Timmy, you're gonna watch me film, okay? You're gonna sit snug right next to me. How about that? Yeah. I just thought it was weird as soon as I said, oh, like, I think you're cool, but I'm not gonna buy you. And then I feel a tug as soon as I leave. I was like, okay, maybe he wants me to purchase him. I don't know. After these events, the next big thing that happened to me was a new apartment. It was really fun. I got an apartment in the city. I lived there for 3 years. It was awesome. And I moved because I got a new job in the art field. So this apartment was new for me, but like actually old. It is an old city, Boston. It's an old city. It was like one of the old brownstones. It was really, really cool. Loved it there. but it didn't feel haunted. Just because a place is old doesn't automatically make it spooky or haunted. I think a lot of paranormal stuff is attached to history, which is great. We should always learn about history. History is good, but it doesn't mean that every historical place is haunted. Yeah, I didn't feel haunted in this apartment. I didn't feel spooky. I didn't feel like anything. There was only one thing that happened. My boyfriend was laying on my bed, scrolling on his phone. And the way that he describes this, it was like a ball of black bird wings just kind of flutter and then go away. Literally a biblically accurate angel in my apartment. He said that was it. That was really freaky. And he told me right afterwards, and I was like, I don't know. Maybe it could have been something in his eye, but it's like a really distinct image of bird, like a ball of bird wings. Strange. A few years after that, my parents move into a new house. So house number 3. And I move with them after my rent was getting too high. This house is the one that I am currently in right now with these green walls. And it's not a super old house. It was built, I think, in the 1940s. There's definitely some kind of history to it that I have to look into, but it's not haunted. Doesn't feel haunted, okay? And nothing has honestly happened in this house. Except for one time, I could have sworn I heard movement upstairs in my dad's office when I was downstairs. It was so clear to the point that I asked my mom, who's with me in the kitchen, I was like, is Dad home? And she's like, no. And I'm like, I think he is. And I go upstairs and I go in his office. I'm like, Dad? No, door was closed. Nobody was there. So it's just strange to so clearly hear somebody and not have anyone be there. I don't like it. It really freaks me out. So all of these paranormal experiences that I've had, I have never felt like the homes or the places were haunted, which seems to be like when someone says, oh yeah, I lived like in a haunted house. That was where I had a paranormal experience, right? I don't think I've lived in a haunted house. I think it might be me. I don't know. It's weird that these things have followed me throughout the homes and like the areas that I've been to. I don't know. It's strange. So all of my paranormal experiences in this video have mostly been like in places I've lived or resided. But I have had 2 weird experiences outside of my home or wherever I was living at the time. I was lucky enough to do an investigation, my first paranormal investigation, on the USS Salem in Quincy for my birthday. Because I'm normal and I want to go ghost hunting on my birthday and talk to air. Great place, go and visit if you can, take the tour, do an investigation, like support it. It's a great, awesome museum too. We didn't have a very active paranormal investigation, which is the norm, by the way. They're not all entertaining and spooky. At least the real ones. We investigate for most of the night, don't really catch anything, learn a lot of history, good stuff. And eventually my team, because we broke up into 2 groups because there were so many people, my team's in the back of the boat at the large mess hall. And we're all sitting there trying to make communication, trying to talk to whatever's there. And we hear footsteps, kind of like in what sounds like the room over or maybe the next room over. And I'm like, oh, the other team must be walking up to us. And then we don't hear anything. And I shout to them. I say some of their names. They don't say anything back. So I, brave old me, go by myself down the dark hallways of the USS Salem. It was spooky. Oh my God, it was so scary. I walked down a few hallways now at this point, and like very obviously there was nobody nearby. So I come back and we try to recreate what we heard. And what we had heard, so the mess hall is like a room, right? And then there was a wall with 2 doors, and then there was a copy of the exact same room and 2 doors. And I was sitting kind of like right up against that wall right here. And what we heard was someone on the other side of the wall walking from one ladder to another, because there was like a ladder going up and a ladder going down. Right there was where we heard the footsteps. And that was pretty cool. And I was like, wow, if that's the only thing that happens tonight, sick, love it. That is so cool. Except it wasn't. Okay. Like I said earlier, I know the devices are kind of bunk. Not kind of. They're bogus, right? They're false positives. I don't really believe in them. We were chilling in this room. It was a majority of us. It was all of my team and some of the other team, and the rest of their team was going off and doing something else. We were all just kind of sitting. It was getting towards the end of our stay. We're all just talking about the night, talking about the ship, our thoughts and feelings on everything. and I'm showing my friend like something that at the time I thought was an EVP, but it's been debunked. Kind of look at the group. I see that we're getting tired. I'm like, okay guys, do you think maybe we should head out? Like, we should leave? And as soon as I do that, the flashlight that we had set up goes on. The EMF meter that we had on the table goes off. And the cat ball on the table also goes off. And this was, for a lot of them, the first time any of the stuff had gone off, and it was the end of the night. And we were there for like 4, 5 hours. I can't actually recall how long it was. It was a good chunk of time. This was the first time that a lot of them had seen the equipment go off, and they were like, whoa, what the heck? And I was like, okay, this is a little weird. So I ask whatever it is to turn off the flashlight, and the flashlight goes off. And then I say, do you want us to leave? Flashlight, cat ball, EMF, all at the same time. And that's what's freaky to me. The fact that I know why the flashlight goes off. I know why the cat ball goes off. I know why an EMF meter would go off, but they're not the same thing. What makes an EMF meter go off does not make the flashlight go off, does not make the cat ball go off, I don't think. Maybe I am wrong about that. And if somebody has a good theory as to why all 3 would go off at once, please let me know. Then we started asking different questions to really solidify the answer. Do you want one of us to stay? Do you want a group of us to stay? Do you want us to leave? Everything goes off. So we left. We're respectful. If a ghost says get out, we are getting out. And that was weird. And it made me really upset because I am always like, the ghost hunting equipment, I don't believe in it. So then for that to happen was a little like, wait, huh? Yeah, it kind of rattled my beliefs there. I still don't believe in the ghost hunting equipment, but maybe there's ways to use them that will be more controlled and less false positive. I don't know. It was weird. It was a weird experience. So those were all of my paranormal experiences in a slideshow format. I hope that has informed you guys and helped you understand my beliefs and where I'm coming from. They were really interesting, and going over all of them at once was kind of surprising because my friends always joke that like I'm haunted. And I was like, no, I have not really experienced anything. And then you have like a 20 deck slideshow about everything I've experienced. But yes, if you have had paranormal experiences, please share them in the comments below and chat with the others who share their experiences. I'm always curious about the pivotal moment that have made people believe, because you can have spooky experiences and go on tours or visit places and feel like something's there, but to have that one experience that really like shocks you or makes you think differently and believe differently, it's always really interesting to hear what it is for different people. So long story short, I want to hear your ghost stories. Tell me about them in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry that this isn't the video I promised at the end of my last one. That is in the works. It's just taking a while. So anyways, thank you for being here, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye.